Lagos Talks
91.3.
News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development and its agencies to address urgent threats posed by explosive remnants in the northeast region. The President's media aide, Femi Adesina, disclosed that the President issued the directive on the occasion of the World Humanitarian Day 2022 in Maiduguri, Borno State yesterday. He said the President affirmed the government's commitment to reducing the effect of disasters, climate change, insurgency, and challenges of internally displaced persons, IDPs, while directing the ministry and its agencies to pay particular attention to emerging issues amid the return and rehabilitation of Nigerians displaced in a 13-year conflict and insurgency in the region. On the fight against insurgency, President Buhari was said to have reiterated his directive to security agencies to take the fight to the hideouts of the criminal elements and ensure they are completely eliminated. The Minister of Education, Adamu, has denied receiving a 2-week ultimatum from the President to resolve the protracted ASUU strike. The Education Minister, who disclosed this at the 47th session of the State House Ministerial Media Briefing held at the ASUU Rock, Abuja, also asked students to take legal action against ASUU for compensation over the time lost since the varsity teachers began their latest round of strike. He stated that the President told him to resolve the issues within the shortest possible time, contrary to what the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, had told the media, while affirming that 5 of the striking university-based unions will return to work in the next 1 week while ASUU's remain uncertain. He insisted that he will not succumb to ASUU's demand for their members to be paid the backlog of salaries withheld within the period of 6 months, which they were on strike, noting that it is the penalty for their action. ASUU embarked on a 1-month warning strike on the 14th of February. However, the union has extended the strike several times in the past 6 months. The Minister of Finance, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, has put the projected daily payment for fuel subsidy at 18.39 billion naira. She stated this during an investigative hearing of the House ADA Committee, which is investigating the petroleum subsidy regime between 2017 to 2021. According to the Finance Minister, this was calculated using the information provided by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, the NNPC, and the regulator. She said the information showed that 64.96 million litres of fuel is the projected average daily truck out, with 1.774 trillion naira paid to independent oil marketers as subsidy in 4 years. The committee has, however, invited the Accountant General of the Federation to appear before it on the 25th of this month to respond to some of the issues raised. The Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, says Nigerians will soon be able to subscribe to the e-Naira digital currency using short codes. The CBN governor, who revealed this yesterday during the e-Naira Hackathon Grand Finale in Abuja, said by next week Nigerians, both banked and unbanked, will be able to open an e-Naira wallet and conduct transactions by simply dialing *997# from their mobile phones. President Muhammadu Buhari had launched the e-Naira in October last year as Africa's first central bank digital currency, with the first phase focused on banked users, while the second phase borders around financial inclusion. The Apex Bank governor had earlier accused Nigerian banks of frustrating the digital currency, with its acceptability being the issue the Apex Bank is battling to improve. In other news, Emirates Airlines has announced the suspension of operations to Nigeria from the 1st of September 2022. The flag carrier of the United Arab Emirates disclosed this in a statement on Thursday, blaming its decision on the inability to repatriate its earnings in foreign exchange from Nigeria. This is coming about 3 weeks after the airlines appealed to the aviation minister, Hadi Sirika, to support the repatriation of its revenue, said to be $85 million. Nigeria is facing a forex exchange crisis, and this has also affected the nation's local currency, the Naira, to depreciate against the dollar. And to some political matters, the Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, has raised the alarm that opposition political parties have adopted a negative strategy ahead of next year's elections campaigns. He alleged that the opposition has been spreading misinformation on both traditional and social media platforms and blaming it on the Labour Party. The former Anambra State governor made the allegations in a series of tweets on his Twitter page. He, however, said that his party would remain resolute and committed to an issue-based campaign. The Federal High Court, Abuja, has fixed October 12th this year to hear a suit seeking disqualification of the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the 2023 election over alleged certificate forgery. Justice Obiara Egwatu had fixed the date on Thursday to allow parties in the suit to complete the filing of their processes and exchange the same as required by law before the adjourned date. While the INEC, which is the first defendant in the suit, sought time to respond to the suit, the APC was not represented in court despite proof of service of the suit on it. The judge accordingly ordered the plaintiff to be ready to call its witness on the adjourned date. Justice Obiora Egwatu of the Federal High Court in Abuja has struck out a suit seeking nullification of submission of name of Ademola Jackson Nuruddin Adeleke as the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the recent July 16 election. The judge struck down the suit yesterday on the grounds that the plaintiff, Awuyemi Oluwatayo Lukman, lacked local standing to institute the case. The plaintiff, Lukman, had dragged the INEC, the PDP and Adeleke before the court seeking order to avoid and set aside the submission of Adeleke's name to INEC on grounds of alleged unlawful action. The grounds of the plaintiff was that Adeleke's name was hurriedly submitted by the PDP on the 11th of March as against between March 14 to 18 as contained in the INEC guidelines. While in Lagos, the state government has banned the operations of commercial motorcycles, better called Okada, in 4 additional local government areas and their respective LCDAs effective September 1st, 2022. State Commissioner for Transportation Frederick Oladende, who made the announcement at a press briefing yesterday, said the decision follows wide consultations with relevant stakeholders and the general public. The affected local government areas include Oshodi Solo, Mushi, Kujofe and Shomolu, while the LCDAs are Ikosi Sheri, Agboiketu, Isolo, Bariga, Odiolo and Ejigbo. The commissioner said the ban is to further consolidate on the achievements made so far, with particular reference to decline in accidents and crime rates, as well as to continue maintaining sanity within communities in the state.
While the ban is in force, the public are advised to resort to alternatives and sustainable means of transportation provided in the state, such as the first and last mile, the BRT scheme, the Lagos e-hailing taxi ride scheme, and other acceptable modes of transport to go about their daily business. And just for the record, Lamata has about 200 new first and last mile buses that will be deployed.
You're listening to the biggest stories this Friday morning, and now we'll look at the international scene. At least 38 people have been killed and dozens more injured in forest fires, which have devastated northern Algeria. Kamel Beljoud, the country's interior minister, said 24 people died in El Tarf, near the border with Tunisia, as well as a mother and daughter in the Sétif region. Local media said at least 200 others have suffered burns and respiratory problems. Firefighters, supported by helicopters, were still trying to contain several blazes on Thursday morning in Algeria. Elsewhere, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says he's gravely concerned about fighting near the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant in southern Ukraine. The appeals came as Ukrainian staff who are working at the plant under Russian direction warned of a potential nuclear catastrophe at the facility, saying in the past 2 weeks it has become the target of continuous military attacks. Antonio Guterres made a comment during a summit with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and Turkish leader Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Lviv, a first between the parties since Russia launched its invasion in February. Erdogan echoed the UN chief's concerns, telling reporters that he was worried about the danger of another Chernobyl disaster erupting at the plant. Moscow is accused of turning the facility into an army base, with all three leaders urging the Russians to demilitarize the zone as soon as possible. The Finnish Prime Minister Sanna Marin is facing a backlash after being seen partying in a leaked video. In the footage thought to be taken from social media, she and friends, including Finnish celebrities, are seen dancing and singing. She has faced criticism from opposition parties, with one leader demanding she takes a drug test. Miss Marin, who's 36, denied taking drugs, saying she only drank alcohol and just partied in a boisterous way. Formerly the world's youngest head of government, a title now held by Chilean President Gabriel Boric, Miss Marin makes no secret of partying and has often been photographed at music festivals in Finland. Last year, she apologized for going clubbing after coming into close contact with a COVID case. In business news this morning, crucial indices of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, the NGX, downgraded further on Thursday, dropping by 0.29%, following sell-offs in highly capitalized stocks. The market capitalization shed 78 billion naira, or 0.29%, to close at 26.723 trillion naira against 26.05 trillion naira on Tuesday. Similarly, the all-share index, which opened at 49.691 1.7, dipped by 144.79 points, or 0.29%, to close at 49,546.38. On market movers, the weak performance was driven by sell-offs in stocks of BUA Cement, MTNN, as well as Axis Bank Holdings and Okumu Oil. FBN Holdings was the most active stock during the day, trading 39 million shares worth 431.89 million naira. In all, the volume of shares traded closed lower as investors bought and sold 146.99 million shares worth 2.65 billion naira in 3,180 deals. And now look at sports, where the national male basketball team, the Tigers camp, will open Saturday, August 20 in Abidjan in preparations for Window 4 of the 2023 FIBA World Cup qualifiers. This is contained in a statement by Afolabi Oni on behalf of the media committee of the NBBF on Thursday, who quoted the team's head coach Mike Brown as saying this became necessary to address the slow start in the first two windows when the team lost to Cape Verde. Brown added that he was optimistic that early preparations will make a difference when his players step on the court for their first game. The Tigers, currently fourth on the table, will play its opener against host Côte d'Ivoire on August 26, face Guinea a day after, before squaring up against Angola on August 28. The 2023 World Cup is billed to hold from August 25 to September 10 in Japan, Indonesia and the Philippines. In football, Nigeria have been handed an easy draw in the qualifiers for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. The draw for the competition, which will be hosted by Morocco, took place at the headquarters of the CAF in Cairo Thursday. The under-23 Eagles were drawn by in the first round, but will face the winner between Tanzania and South Sudan in the second round.
Lagos Talks
91.3.